was kind of hoping for something maybe a little more Irish from a band. He goes out there, he catches them getting high. So what does he do? He calls the cops. And then he throws them out, and he doesn't pay them. Even though they had a written contract, it was argued that the band did not live up to their end of it because they broke the law. And that just wasn't appropriate for that Irish pub. So what happened? Well, they were going to sue, but then that would have meant that they'd have had to go in front of a judge and explain to him why it was okay for them to be smoking marijuana in the alley. You know, that's one they just had to walk away from. It sucked, but they just had to walk away. It was actually a kind of a nightmare. Another band had a gung-ho new manager. You gotta be careful with your amateur managers. These guys are all, oh, I can really help you guys out. I can take you guys to the next level. Check around, check their references. This was a bad egg. This particular guy booked this band to play New Year's Eve show at a venue that they played all the time. They've been playing there for 10, 15 years, regular and doing well, right? And the night, he wasn't happy with what they were supposed to get paid. And he pulls out a contract. They had a written contract. And there's something I didn't mention before. If you got a written contract, take it to the show. It doesn't do you any good if it's at home. Okay? Always bring that written contract. Or at least a copy that's signed by the booking guys of the venue or the promoter or whoever. Well, the problem was this contract was really vague, and it was almost impossible to determine what the band was really supposed to get, because he like downloaded this thing off the internet, and it was like one of the worst contracts ever. If you're going to use a contract, make it simple, make it plain, make it straightforward. Say, we get paid $300, and you know, that's simple. You know, if it's more complicated, say, we will get paid $2 for every person who shows up at the gig. That's simple too. Make it very clear, or as simple as you can. The venue was like, well, we got to take out money for the party favors and the hats and the champagne and all that New Year's Eve stuff that we don't usually do. And they argued, you know, that wasn't in the contract. Why the venue didn't insist on having that in the contract, I don't know. But it wasn't there. So that was something to argue over. And in the midst of the negotiations, though, this manager just got out of control upset. I mean, he wasn't calm. He wasn't, you know, hey, let's work this out. You know, it's one thing to be go to bat for your band and stand up for them. It's another thing to do what this guy did, which was threaten to stab the booking guy. And he didn't take out a knife. He didn't actually stab anybody, but he threatened to. He said, I'm going to stab that guy. And, you know, so after that gig, that band had to fire that manager because this venue would not work with that band anymore if they had that manager. And the worst part is that guy pissed off every venue they played at for the 6 months he was managing the band. That's the kind of thing you need to be careful of. But that was an interesting evening, that one. Here's another one, good one. This was a national act. So actually a national reggae act from Jamaica. And they were all set to play on a Saturday night at the venue, and they were supposed to go on at 11 o'clock after an opening DJ act. Well, the whole night just went south. Right off the bat, we learned that there was a huge reggae act at the local amphitheater, and it was just a bad night to have reggae anywhere else, because anybody who's into reggae was at the amphitheater. And why wouldn't they be? There were like 10 or 12 huge national, international reggae acts there. And then, okay, so we show up, and then there's that. And there's ticket prices reasonably steep, but there's been a few pre-sales, and some people show up. They're starting to show up at 7 o'clock, paying their pretty hefty cover charge. And the DJ was supposed to go on around 9 or so. Well, first we get a phone call. One of his turntables is broken. So he's driving around town trying to get another turntable so that he can come and perform. Well, half an hour later we get a phone call. He's in jail. He got pulled over for speeding and arrested on an outstanding warrant. So he couldn't make it. So the booking guy goes crazy, and even one of the bartenders is on the phone calling up every musician they can find every musician they know who can play any reggae at all. And finally, about 11, they managed to scrounge up an ad hoc band. Some reggae guys are going to jam, and they start jamming. But by then, there's people who paid their money, and they've been there since 7 o'clock, waiting for this big national act from Jamaica, who were, did I mention they were on a tour bus from Seattle to Denver? And then we start getting calls from them. Well, their tour bus had broke down in Utah. They got it fixed, and they're on the road. They're coming. They're 60, 80 miles away. And we get another call. They're 30, 40 miles away. They're 20, they're 10. Tour bus finally pulls up at 12:30. And of course, by then, people have they're leaving, they're asking for their money back. It was just a nightmare. But we let them play. We let them play their full hour and a half, even though by the time they got on stage at 1 o'clock, the venue was supposed to be closed at 2. We let them play till 2:30. And the sad part about that, or the part that pissed off the people who stayed to hear them, was that we had to pick up all the drinks at 2 o'clock. And so they played the last 30, 45 minutes to a bunch of people who couldn't even get a cup of water. It was kind of unpleasant. Then they had a very good, very professional tour manager. And, he comes to collect. And the answer was, sorry, we don't have any money for you. We had to refund too many tickets. This guy got on the phone with the owner of the venue, and they talked for half an hour or more, and ended up leaving without getting paid. The good news was, this was a international touring act. They had professional booking people. They had a down payment. They got probably half of their guarantee up front. They got hotel rooms. They got taken care of. And the gig went south. They had to settle for nothing more than that, but they got that. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. This has been The Music Biz at rockoncolorado.com. I'm David Barber of Commotion Music Promotion. Thank you very much. Good night.